Hello, good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Welcome to episode 20. I even remembered. I'm so happy with myself with that one of the podcast, and he is back. Oh, I'm so happy he's back. It's only me and Courtney today. Ryan has got family stuff that he's gone off to go and do with, but we were going to do a podcast anyway. So he is back. He is on. Don't forget that the podcast that we did on Friday, which did all the predictions for the Derby game, but we also predicted where we think the Premiership is going to finish, the Championship, top goal scorers as well in each division, and that was quite interesting. But go and check that out. If you haven't, go and look on all of our social medias on Instagram and Twitter, and you will be able to see the graphics that we did for it, so you'll have a better understanding. Go check us out on Facebook as well and everything else. Right. So, how are you?
Yeah, very good. Thank you, mate. How about yourself?
Yeah, I'm all good, all good. Been a busy few days for myself. My brother's gone off to uni now, so
Oh.
we had to ship him off. Mum was getting all tearful. I didn't cry, I promise.
Did you literally ship him in a container, or
Yeah.
did you do it?
I got him in the back of the van and then opened the door and went, fuck off. But no, so he's gone to Wembley now to go and do sports reporting and journalism. So
I
he's
know
off.
his tutor, in which case, because I know the guy who teaches it. So
Do
yeah,
you?
good luck to him. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's excited and ready to go. He's just been, he's learning how to drink properly now. He's learning. Right, let's get into it, shall we? So let's talk about we're going to talk about the Derby game. I'm still buzzing from it. Anyway, we're going to talk about before, during, and after, and then we'll go through some other bits and pieces as well. But we're just going to relax, just chill, just have a normal conversation. So, before the game, how were you feeling?
I
Honestly.
didn't. Yeah, no. Honestly, I was apprehensive for Reading. I didn't. I always try and be optimistic. But yeah, I didn't. Definitely didn't see the result going the way it went. I thought if they could nick a draw, I thought it would have been a good result for them. So yeah, no, I didn't have high hopes at all, really.
So we did a prediction before on the Friday podcast, and Ryan put 2-0 Reading, and I put 3-1 Reading. I didn't have much in it sort of optimism in the defense. But so the starting lineup, I want to get your take on it, was Raphael in goal, and then we got Yeadham, Moore, Morrison, Richards back four, Reno, Laurent, two sort of defensive midfielders, sort of. Ajaria, Swift, Elise, and Jal. When you saw that, I think everyone was thinking the same thing. Oh no, Ajaria on the wing. I don't know what you. So when you first saw that, did you think that was the strongest? What did you think of it?
Yeah, I did. That was actually the lineup that I predicted. So yeah, when I saw it, I did think that. I thought playing the 4-2-3-1 away from home, I thought was a smart idea to have the two sort of holding midfielders. I think I was expecting Derby to attack a lot more than they did end up doing, admittedly. But no, when I saw the team sheet, I completely agreed. I thought he'd set that up the way I would have. Not that I know anything about setting up a team, but if I was in charge, that's exactly what I'd have done as well. So no, I thought it was a good lineup. McIntyre was the obvious sort of omission for me, but I think you have to appreciate that he'd obviously been away on international duty. So I think he'd only returned to training late in the week. So the manager obviously hadn't had much time to have a look at him, and you know, he could have been carrying a knock or whatever. So
he said that after the game, didn't he? I think Porno.
Yeah, I think it was a case that he obviously hadn't had a chance to look at him properly, which is, you know, it's fair enough. He had a lot of pressure on him. He needed to go with the players that he felt were going to get the job done. So
I think it was interesting when I think everyone had the same thing as well as you was, hold on, where's McIntyre? And then he come out after the game and said, well, he's been with Scotland and he hadn't actually really seen him beforehand. So, and the only time he saw him was a couple of days before the first game. And he sat down with McIntyre, I think he said as well, that I'm not going to play you, but that doesn't mean you're not in the team. It just means I need to see you more and see how you get on and how you play. But I think a lot of people's worry was, oh no, Moore and Morrison, only two of the centre backs that I think only one of them made himself look good last season, which was Morrison, and Moore, I think, had a point to prove. And there was also about the captaincy as well. Do you think it was the right decision to stick it with Moore?
That's a tough question.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, no, and that's not a criticism against Moore in any way, shape, or form. I just feel that Morrison is a proven captain. He's a very experienced player. I think he's very, well, for what I've been told, he's very inspirational in the dressing room. He's a commanding figure on the pitch. So I really, truthfully did believe or did think that Morrison was going to be named captain. But no, I'm obviously happy for Liam to keep the armband, and hopefully he does well.
I think it was good as well to see that Yiadom was back for the first time since, I think, Birmingham, or was it before the Birmingham or Barnsley game before?
I can't remember what game it was, yeah.
But it's good to see him get some minutes out. Richards, I think this is his year. Where at
Do you know what? I've always really criticised Richards. Every time I've seen him play, I've just thought I never saw anything really special in him. But watching him against Derby, I was quite happy to eat my words because he looked fantastic.
I think the issue with Richards with myself is his defensively. I think going forward, he offers a heck of a lot more than going backwards. But there was a couple of times he was found out in the second half, I think because of fitness, but he also proved he could still go forward, which for me was good. Laurent as well. I think Laurent and Reno. Laurent has just fit into. It's like he's been here years.
Laurent, honestly, in my time watching, reporting on Reading, I think that's probably the best debut I've seen, and not because he did something magical. He just seemed to fit in so perfectly, and it was almost as if he made it look like it wasn't his debut. He didn't do anything fancy. He didn't look nervous. He just got on with what he had to do, and he just seemed to fit into the Championship so well. So yeah, no, it was a great debut.
He's also fitted into the team amazingly. Him and Jowl look like they've got a bit of a bromance going on.
Yeah.
You've got a lot of it seems that he's been around for a long. There seems to be confidence and there seems to be happiness that I haven't seen in this Reading team since.
It's been a while.
I can't even remember. I think the last time it was since Yapstan's first season, maybe. Yeah. Which says a lot, and I think it sort of shows. And then we've got Ejaria. I didn't think he would start, and that was the one thing I put that I don't think he was because he hasn't had a pre-season to my knowledge. I think he's only played. He might have played in the Portugal game when he was out there, but we don't know what happened in that. But he hasn't had. He's been training, but he hasn't had a pre-season. But he made it look easy, didn't he? He makes everything look so.
He did for 70 minutes, but then you could see he was absolutely knackered after an hour or so. But like you said, if he, obviously he hasn't had a full pre-season, so that's to be expected. But yeah, I mean, £3.5 million, it's a bargain.
Bargain, isn't it? Yeah. It's people talk about Brentford getting bargains. I think they need to be start looking at that. Then we had Swift.
Didn't have his best game.
No, it was one of those games where he looked like he was playing in a position that he liked to play, but then forgot how to play it. Because he's been playing all over the pitch with every manager. Every manager slotted him in a different. He looked comfortable where he was playing, but I think he was just doing it on purpose. I think you tweeted, and I think you did a brilliant tweet that he's playing this back, or he's not doing that well just to put off Villa and Sheffield United. But
I think he's one of those. I think he had 2 golden opportunities, didn't he? And on another day they could go in, and everyone would say, "Oh, he played an absolute blinder. He scored 2 goals." People don't really think about his work off the ball, and people just they look at the end product, I guess. So, it wasn't his best performance, but I'm sure he'll put in better performances soon.
Do you think do you think he's struggling with the pressure that's going to be on him, or do you think he's going to thrive in the pressure that's going to be on him?
That's a good question. I think there will be pressure on him. The one thing that I thought of is obviously the club have made it quite clear that he isn't going. But I'm not saying he is, but if he is sort of in the back of his mind angling for a move, one thing he won't want to do is get injured. So obviously may not sort of overexert himself, but that doesn't seem to be in his character. He seems to be very professional. I guess there is pressure on him, expectation now, because obviously the club see him in such high regard. But no, I'd say he'd probably thrive off of that more than
because
crumble over it.
I think one of the criticisms I've had was he's only ever had one very good full season, where he's been injured, come back, does well, drops off, gets injured, goes out, comes back. I think the issue is he needs. I don't know whether he needs a goal or assist or he needs something. I think he needs something to kickstart him again. I think because of all of the interest.
He's a slow burner.
Yeah.
He is a slow burner. Yeah.
And he's one of those with all of those interests and everything is probably still playing on his mind. He's got he had a manager that really rated him very highly to now within weeks of Serbian.
It looked like he was going to be named captain at one point, didn't it?
He had the captaincy and then the Serbians come in, and I can't say how much I love him at the moment, but he's come in and he's done wonders. And then we've got, could we say the next Gylfi Sigurdsson in Elise? Or am I putting too much on him?
Different kind of players. I think.
Kind of, but as in like wonder kid coming through the academy.
In terms of potential, I think 100%. If Elise continues on his sort of upwards trajectory and doesn't get distracted like we've seen other young players coming through do, then I certainly wouldn't argue that the potential's there.
I think the interesting thing is his link up with Joe is really sort of
superb,
because did he get the assist or a couple of assists in the Carabao Cup?
He got an assist in the cup, and he got
one, and then he's got two or one for Joe to pass it on to. But there just seems to be a relationship with Elise, but then let's talk about the main man, shall we? The guy that needs to stay fit for the rest of the season, Lucas João. He is a special player, isn't he? The way that he controls the ball and looks after it. What do you think about him? What's your opinion on Mr. João?
I think I saw a different side to him on Saturday. I always thought he was a good player, but I don't think I'd ever really. I saw the hat trick against Colchester. I thought, that was a good hat trick, but really, a decent championship striker should be scoring goals against Colchester. So I wasn't really following the hype about him. But then watching his performance against Derby really sort of, changed my mind about him as a player. He's good in the air. He's good with both feet. He's skillful. He's quick. He gives Reading two options because you can play the ball into his feet and he'll hold it up for you and he'll create space. He's creative. For the second goal, he didn't even look to see where Ajario was. He just looks magnificent. And my only hope now is, like you said, that they keep him fit. I think that's one issue that he's had throughout his career, as far as I'm aware. I remember when they first signed him, speaking to some guys that I know that sort of report on Sheffield Wednesday, and they said, if you can keep him fit, he's a hell of a player. But the trouble is, you don't usually get more than 5 games in a row with him. That's got to be right up there on the priorities this season for Reading is to keep him fit. I'd back him to score 20 goals, to be honest, if they keep him fit.
I think it was very, very. I think this has got to be the best strike force. I think someone said this: if you combine Elise, Swift, Ijari, and João all together, could that be the best foursome strike force in the Championship? And I was looking at like Brentford and Norwich and Watford. Well, Watford with their second B team that they've got going at the moment.
I think
it's got these four have got to be the deadliest, haven't they?
I'm not sure if deadliest is the right term. The only reason I say that is because Elise and Swift aren't goal scorers; they're creators. The same with Ajaria. I think with that 4, you're relying a lot on João to score. And if he gets injured, but if you chuck Yaku Mate into the mix and I don't know who for, then it becomes different. Because he is more of a goal scorer. I think he wants to play where it was always said his preferred position is on the right, where Elise has been playing. So I guess
Does he
you
get
have
into the team?
to look. For me, yes, just because he is that more of a goal scoring threat, and you're not relying so heavily on João to score the goals. The other thing I'd say is with Elise is that he's still young. They have to keep him grounded. They have to always go back to it. But you look at Sir Alex Ferguson. When he had all these young players coming through, he played them for 4 or 5 games, then all of a sudden they'd be nowhere to be seen for a couple of games. And I think Elise almost maybe needs that treatment, not to have everything sort of handed to him too quickly. We don't want another Theo Walcott that gets everything thrown at them at a young age and turns into doesn't fulfill their potential. So yeah, for me, Mate does get into the team over Elise, but it's a hard call, and it probably also depends on the opposition. And if Reading are if they need to go more direct, then obviously you're gonna pick Mate because he's a lump. He's a big strong unit. You can hit him in the air.
Yeah.
If they need to play the ball around on the floor, then obviously you're going to pick Elise. So it's a good problem to have, to be fair.
Brilliant problem
for Paunovic. I'd rather have a problem of trying to pick which player to play than, do you know what I mean, having to just chuck someone in. Yeah, it's a great problem to have, and the same with Puskás as well.
I think this is going to be interesting because Swift can come out, and Elise can go in. If Swift's not having a few good games, Mite can come in. If we need 2 strikers, you've got João and Puskás, 2 different sort of strikers, 2 different ways of playing them. You've got Mite that can come in and do something a little bit different. There's not one player in that team that I think now Lawrence come in, he complements Reno and everything that they do.
Yeah.
It just seems that now we have a team with a few additions maybe, and we'll get on to them. I know everyone wants me to ask a certain question. I will ask that question. Just chill. I think there seems to be a different dynamic and I don't know what if you catched any of the interviews that he did, and there was a few backlashes from a certain company, Talos End, for what they tweeted about him. But as he said, I don't know whether you caught some of the statements he said, we will play the style, we will have a set style, but if our style does not work against A, B, or C, we have the ability to change it, the formation, the people that we're playing against. What do you think? Do you think that's a good thing to have, where you can change it?
I think what he says to the media and what he says to people probably isn't the same that he says. I can't imagine that he's gone in there and said, right, we're not gonna have a play style. You're just gonna do what I tell you each week. He will have a philosophy, whether it's, I don't know, like a high press or counter attack or whatever. But I think maybe his words were perhaps taken out of context a bit. And I think he was probably just trying to say that he's going to adapt to, or try and adapt to games.
Situations.
And I know people say, oh, you want a manager that's got a clear style and a clear philosophy. Well, Jaap Stam had a clear style and clear philosophy, and when it came to the point where he needed to adapt, he didn't, and that was ultimately his downfall. So, personally, I didn't have any problem with what he was saying. I thought, actually, no, that's fine, that makes sense. But yeah, I don't think it's a case that he doesn't have a preferred style of football. I think he's just, he knows that the Championship is a difficult league, and the thing is with the Championship is 1 week you come across Leeds, not now anymore, obviously, but a team that pushes high and keeps the ball on the deck, and then you go to Cardiff the next week with Route 1 football. So it's not.
Yeah.
I mean, there are so many different sort of types of games in the Championship that you do need to adapt your play style, or you get caught in the Jaap Stam trap and just do the same thing every week, and it works for a while, and then you get found out and you're in the relegation zone. So no, I didn't have any issue with what he said at all.
Completely agree with you. And let's talk about the play style, and let's talk about how we set up Reading then. So it was a 4-2-3-1 throughout the game. It very much seemed to be as control possession type, but with a bit of a twist, I would call it. I would say it was like 2 or 3 passes between Moore and Morrison, and let's not, excuse my language if anyone gets offended, piss about with it. Let's get the ball forward, and then once we're in their half and in their area, then find a way through. I don't know what you thought about it, and I thought he played it. And I said this, and I might get a bit of backlash for this, and it really tells when you have an actual manager in charge than someone that has been assistant manager on certain things. When you have someone that's been a player, that's been playing all over the world, he's been manager in certain countries as well. It really does show the buzz. I don't know what you thought about the play. For me, I thought it was absolutely perfect.
My only disappointment with the play on Saturday was that Reading should have been more ruthless.
Mm-hmm.
I think, Swift had 2 glorious chances that could easily have gone in. Jow hit the post. Oh no, it was a crossbar, wasn't it? Sorry.
Yeah.
So they could and probably should have scored 5 or 6. Which then, if they do that, then everyone's going to be saying that they played the perfect game. So it was, I didn't have any sort of issue with the style that they played. I thought, I completely agree with what you're saying. I thought they played it perfectly, away from home as well. Obviously, I know it doesn't really make as much of a difference now without the fans, but no, it was a brilliant performance, and they deserve the win.
I said this on the podcast on Friday, and I don't know, and I want to get your take on it. Do you think it's a good thing that there's no fans at the moment for Reading to a certain extent? Because if you think about the negativity that's been happening for the past few weeks of what happened with Howe and Bowen and everything, they won't hear anything. All they'll hear is whatever social media. When they're in the ground, they can literally just concentrate on what the new manager wants. Do you think that's going to benefit Reading for the time being until we can go back in where maybe we've got a run of games? Everyone's forgotten about what happened at the start of the season. Everyone's now loving what's going on.
I do see your point, but I also think that players do thrive and get that sort of extra buzz off of having the crowd behind them. But obviously, you are right. There has been a lot of negativity, and not just over the last few weeks. It's been over the last few years. So let's be honest about it. So I think one thing that I am sort of looking forward to is people just not taking football for granted so much anymore. And I hope that when supporters do get back in, that we get more fans into the stadium, and sort of more of an atmosphere at Majesty Stadium. Because obviously it has been quite dire of recent years, and sort of only getting 13,000 people in a stadium, of Reading size isn't ideal.
I think the thing that really got me, and I'm one of those people where I always listen to the interview to see what he says, and when I really need to remember how to say his name, Valko Paunovic. Is that how you do it? Paunovic. Okay. When he did Paunovic. Okay. When he did his very first interview for the Reading YouTube and everywhere else, the thing that got me was when he goes, when I see the 1871 on the logo, it shows how much heritage they have of a club and blah, blah, blah. And he talks about the club. And not only that, he says, when we're all allowed, I want to mix with the fans. My instinct, when you don't want to do that yet. My first instinct was, you definitely don't want to do that yet. But he very much, I don't know whether he's another one of the Gomez type style of manager where he's very comfortable in front of the camera. But as soon as he mentioned that he wants to be with the fans and get involved and do something inside me just got really comfortable with him as manager. What did you think of that interview, and what did you think about him?
Well, I think it became clear immediately that he knows how to say the right things, because that's how he got the job.
Yeah.
Because he certainly didn't get it off managerial experience, so he's obviously gone in there and got the dice juices flowing for whatever reason. But I agree. He definitely has a really sort of warming persona around him. He feels like someone who would make you feel quite comfortable when you could just sort of sit down and have a chat with, which is good. But the only thing I would say is Jose Gomez did that, and
We
that
can't
one
say
didn't
anything
work.
bad about him. No Gomez bashing on here. He is a god, and he will stay a god. No, I know what you're going to say, and I completely agree with you. I just hope that, and I think it really showed. I think I saw a stat today, and I'm going to try and find it while I talk. Is about Reading's percentage of wins from when they win the very first game of the season. I want to find it, and I want to tell you exactly. I think it was from Talk Reading that did it.
They haven't won an opening day away game since, was it under a new manager, since Koppel? I don't think.
So Reading have won their first away league game of the season for the first time since the 2011-2012 season. That season, Reading went on to win the league. And I think that was that the one where we wore the red away kit as well? No, that was the play.
Yeah, it was.
Was the Reading?
Yeah, no, it was.
Away? Yeah, I think the Reading.
Oh no, was it? I can't remember.
I can't remember either.
It was black, wasn't it? I can't remember. It's too long ago.
Was it the black and red? Wasn't that the playoff final?
When McDermott took them up, they were. Yeah, that was. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was. No, you are right. Sorry, you are right.
Yeah, I think it was the black and red.
I stand corrected.
McAnuff, I think, against Cardiff, if I was right. I think that was the game. Anyway, but yeah, no, I think it was absolutely superb. I think he says the right thing. If he's listening, you want to mix with fans when there's all this COVID's over, please come on the podcast. Or if not, you could come around my house for dinner. I don't care. I could kick the missus out and the kids out if you really want, and we could just sit down and talk. I'm happy. It's fine. So 2 goals, 2 Jal goal and a Jaria goal. Who, apart from Jal, because everyone knows that he stood out in that game. For you, who were the 2 other or 3 other who really stood out for you during that game?
Lauren really stood out for me. Richards, as I said earlier, I was really, I don't want to say surprised by his performance. That sounds a bit harsh, but I was really, I really enjoyed his performance. And Jaria obviously played a blinder as well.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. For me, I'll tell you a couple of surprising. I'll tell you any more times now. I'll keep stuttering. People that surprised me more, I thought was an absolute rock.
Yeah, had a really good game. Look back to his sort of previous self.
He's gone back to the way he should be. Morrison doesn't surprise me because I think he's just superb. Aluko, and do I say I rate his performance? I wouldn't say I rated it, but he did what he needed to do when he come on. And I think he did. I don't know why I'm holding the controller. And I think he did exactly what he needed to do. He come on, control the play. He needed to do a pass. He didn't do anything fancy. He passed it, got in for a tackle.
Yeah.
With him.
I agree. And there was a moment with Aluko where Reading sort of had an opportunity to counter. I think Baldock had it out wide, and you could see Aluko was absolutely busting a gut to get into the middle, and he did. And if Baldock could pick out a simple pass, Aluko would have been there for a tap in. So, yeah, no,
I see he needs to do it.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I see a different
I said this on the weekend, but I have a sort of a suspicion that something went on with Aluko, that it wasn't all what it seemed, because he seemed to have such a rapid fall from grace. I think he put up something on social media recently saying it's his comeback season, and I found that quite cryptic. So you never know, maybe something went on sort of behind the scenes that we're not privy to.
Because he's not very social media person either.
No, I think he's quite private.
He doesn't say anything. He doesn't do anything on social media. For him to come out,
he likes his art, doesn't he? He likes his art and his books.
And for him to come out and say something really sort of tells that. I don't think a fall from grace, yes, but at the same time, he must see something in this manager that either suits his style of play that he thinks, or there's something going on where he actually feels comfortable now. Maybe all of the players that were here last season, 14, 15 of them that are now gone.
Yeah.
He actually now feels like, okay, this is now a team, not just grab rows of random people together.
Tell you what I would like to see, and this, I'm not saying this is going to happen at all, but I would like to see the reaction if he got a contract extension.
You imagine the meltdown. The meltdown that happened with Bowen. Ah. I'm so tempted. I'm so tempted to clip that bit where you said Luco gets contract extension and just put it on Twitter and see what everyone says.
Luco signing a contract extension. Yeah.
A Luco over Mendes.
Yeah, that would be interesting. But no, I think obviously the difficulty with Luco is he has the price tag over his head, and the fact that Reading have been paying him a really decent sum of money each week for what ultimately has been next to zero product since he signed. So, but if he can have a good season, then fair play to him.
I really do hope he has one of those seasons that everyone goes, yeah, it was something behind the scenes that hasn't made him perform. It's not one of those seasons where you go, oh, Luco, you're not doing yourself any favours. For me, what
we could really do with is
go on, Karen.
Him scoring in the playoff final. So what we could do with is him scoring in the playoff final. That would be the perfect, 3 years of disappointment and then bang.
Or when Graham Murty scored the penalty against QPR.
Yeah.
To send it to that party. You imagine he gets the goal that breaks 106 points. That could be a meltdown on its own, I think.
It could be interesting. I hope he has a good season. There is a good player in Luco somewhere. I don't care what anyone says. Yapstam wasn't stupid. He knows football, and he knows decent players. So there is a good player in there somewhere. Whether Velko kind of doing Paunovic, we'll get it out of him. He said he had a chat with Slavica Jokanovic before he came to Reading. Maybe had a chat with him about getting the best out of a Luco. We don't know, but it's also possible.
So before we go on to any of the transfers, I'm really trying to drag that out to the end. I'm really letting that go to the end. So before we get on that, so what do you think about the new coaching setup now? We've got
love it. The more Man United players, the better.
We got Quint. I don't know whether you saw that picture from Reading tweet. I think it was
I did see it.
with them with Rooney.
And yeah.
So what do you think of the setup? Would that be a Man United bias?
When John O'Shea first came in, not just he came in as a player, but even though he said in his interview that he was there to play, not to coach, I kind of thought, are you really?
Really?
No, I was really excited about that because I thought at the time Reading were having real defensive issues, and I thought, this is great. Get John O'Shea, and he's a Premier League winner, he's a Champions League winner, he's a great defender in his day.
He nutmegged Luis Figo as well.
He did nutmeg Luis Figo. He's good keeper as well. So when he first came in, I thought this is great. He's really going to help shore up Reading's defence. And I was made wrong really quickly by Reading's shambolic defending over the last X period of time. The thing is, I don't know what his sort of remit is. Whether he's there as a defensive coach or he's there as, I don't know. No one really knows exactly what he's doing day to day.
Well, a lot of people have sort of been seeing him when they look at before the games or have seen him training. He's always with the youngsters. He's always with the young players. Either, I'm not talking about crossing or anything. He's more probably about the mental side of the game. I think because he's a leader and a captain and probably one of the best.
And he's been there, seen it, done it.
Exactly, he's done everything. All. Do you think it's good now that we've got Pananovic? We've got the goal.
Fortune.
Him. But we've also got this other Serbian that was with him.
I don't know much about him.
Nuno Gomez, who's come in. Then we've got that Marco guy that's going to come in and be an assistant. Eddie looks like he's gone. He seems to have taken it the wrong way as well, apparently, according to reports as well at the Derby game. I don't know whether you saw it, but the new manager.
But I heard that he was there.
Yeah, he was there, and he was there with Tom McIntyre. Apparently, they were both in the stands during the game, and apparently, according to reports, as in J-Lo and maybe, I don't know, Matt Joyce or anything, but definitely J-Lo said that when the new manager walked past Eddie just looked away and didn't look at him. or talk to him. So
Interesting.
if he's being like that, why is he still around? For me, you don't want that sort of person around, but
no,
it's one of those situations. But it seems to be very much, if you've got lots of experience as a player, come to Reading, and do that, because they see Quinton Fortune's been everywhere. I looked at his stat; he's been everywhere. Won the Premier League, won the Community.
But he's done a lot of coaching, hasn't he? He's been doing a lot with the Man United, so under 21s, under 23s. So yeah, time will tell.
Yeah, it seems to be very
even
much
without
a mentality. I think the coaching is more about mentality than it is about. We've got the players to be the best in the Championship. We've definitely got the players, and they're definitely paid enough to be the best. There's something mentally blocking them from playing to their potential where they got. And I presume that, I think Nuno's come in to be the technical playing side, but you've got John O'Shea and Fortune that's come in to be the mental, right, you've got this. Yeah. This is how we did it. Now you try it and see how you feel. I think that's a brilliant way. So then we've got the cup game against Luton tomorrow. Tomorrow. When
tomorrow.
are we? So today for
Tuesday.
everyone. Everyone listen to this today. It's today for you guys. What do you expect? Do we expect a vast amount of changes? Are we expecting?
I think there'll definitely be changes. It might see McNulty get a start. Aluko possibly as well. I think he'll want to keep obviously fresh legs, but then at the same time, I always say this with you want to keep momentum, especially at the start of the season. I wouldn't really want to see him make wholesale 10 or 11 changes. You might see Southwood come in as he did in the first round. But yeah, I think there'll definitely be changes, but hopefully not too many, because I also think that they need to keep. They got off to a really good start, so keep that momentum going. And the only way you keep momentum is by playing.
I agree. I completely agree. And I think we need to get Puskas in. Or Pushkas, however you want to say it. I think he was on fire for when he went to Romania. I think we need to get him in and get there. Be nice to see Southwood in between the sticks again as well, to keep challenging Raphael, to keep him on his toes. I want to see that Ethan Bristow. There's a lot of talk about him. Good, he got really
supposed to be a good player.
Terrick, whatever his name is. He's got Derek. I
know who you mean.
Yeah, him.
Yeah, I don't know. Dejan Tetek or something.
Yeah, I know that Adam from Tarles, that's been on the podcast before, really rates him highly. Really thinks he could do something as well. So I would say Hosgrove, but he's made a brilliant move to go to Celta Vigo, isn't he? Good on him.
Blinder. Yeah.
Completely.
An absolute blinder there.
He's gone over to Spain, and hopefully there's a sell-on clause there for when he grows and does stuff. So that's quite good. So we're expecting a few changes. Do you think we'll win?
Yeah.
Against Luton? Yeah.
Yeah, comfortably. 3-0.
3? Oh, you even go for a prediction?
3-0.
Oh, I'm going to have to go for one now. I'm going 3-0 is actually quite a good shout, actually. 2-1. I'm going to go 2-1. I think if we've got a few changes, it might be interesting. Right. Let's go on to the outs. People listening to this are going to get really angry with me. How I haven't asked that question yet. So I saw, and I want to get your take on this, and I want to see what you think. Sam Baldock, I saw somewhere that Luton might be interested in taking him on loan. Is that something that could
on his salary?
It might be one of those where Reading have to pay half of it.
Yeah.
Do you think they'll get him out?
Don't know anything about it, to be honest. I know he did have Charlton looking at him at one point last year, but I haven't heard anything about him going. I think he earns a certain salary, and I think it was made clear before that unless someone matched that salary, he wasn't going to go anywhere. So
is this his last year of his contract?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. If I was him, I would go out on loan and get a shop window and get some game time. Right. Here we go. So first question I have, which is the most popular question, and what I would like you to do is take your time, explain to everyone the situation, what you know for the time being. If the situation changes, we've recorded this because I know how things change quite quickly, at 5:45 on Monday evening, afternoon, whatever you call it. What is the situation with Mr. Mendes?
So, as I understand it, Reading had an improved bid on. So it sounded like he was on his way to Almeria. Reading then came in with a better offer, which obviously Sporting were happy to accept. But it looks like he is still going to go to Almeria, despite having more money on the table at Reading. But like I was saying to you before we started, obviously there are a lot of factors that, we don't know what Reading have offered him in terms of play time. He might see it as if he goes to Spain, he'll be the first choice striker, whereas as here, Lucas João is obviously going to be the first name on the team sheet. So yeah, it's very much down to him, and I think that's been the case all along. Sporting are happy to let him go as long as they get their fee for him. Reading and Almeria are both very interested in him. Obviously, Almeria with Jose Gomez, so it's really in his court. But yeah, certainly the indications today have been that he is gonna choose a Spanish switch.
So I'm just looking. They got a former Man United player up as a striker and a former Reading player, Almeria. I don't know whether you heard of Larigi Ramazani. He's got him.
He was at Man.
Yeah, he's got a. I've googled Almeria. I'm not gonna lie while you're talking. And they've also got. I want to say he used to play for Reading. I'm gonna double check. Oh no, he definitely didn't play for Reading. It's fine. He was not the one that used to play for Reading. They don't really have, or Joseph Corpas is another one. 29, plays for them. Doesn't look decent. So it looks like he's going to go there as first choice by the players that I can see here. I think that's probably one of the decisions in him.
Well, that would be a huge factor, and it's the cultural thing as well. I'm not saying that Spain and Portugal are the same place, Jesus, but I just think that there will be more cultural similarities between Spain and Portugal than there will be between Portugal and England.
And I think
even the weather could be.
It
could have an influence on it. It could be anything.
He doesn't want to test himself against Stoke on a Wednesday night in December. If
possibly.
We're playing them in December, I don't know.
Very possibly.
But it looks like he's going to go there, and by all the looks of things, Mr. Gomez has done what Mr. Gomez does the most. I think, let's be honest.
And that could be another, playing for a Portuguese coach, that could be definitely another factors. Influence that swayed him. So yeah, you just don't know without asking him directly. You'll never know.
So from what I can see here, they don't really have that many strikers. I'm looking through them. They have very small, limited strikers. And as well, if you're going to look at a manager just by looks, and you look at Gomez and you look at the Reading manager, I would sign for Amira just by looking at Gomez every day. That's because I have a man crush on him. There's a picture of him that just pops up. Just makes me happy every time I look at him. Anyway, man crush over with for the time being, because I think the Serbian, if he gets us up, will definitely overtake.
One thing I would say, about Mendes is actually, it's credit to him that he's obviously, like I said, or what I've been told is that he'd earn more money if he moved to Reading than he moved to Almeria. So if he's still choosing Almeria, then, we criticise young players so much for just going after the money. But I think if he, clearly that's not going to be the case with him. So fair play to him, and good luck.
So if we talk about money, are we talking about money as in the loan fee we're going to pay Sporting for that? Or
no, I don't think Sporting's, I don't think Sporting's fees ever changed. I think it was more his salary. Although this is where things become so complicated in football. But if they took him on loan, they would pay either all or a percentage of his salary. So they wouldn't be able to sort of increase his wages, so to speak, because they're only loaning him from Sporting. But what they could do is slip him an envelope under the table and say, if you come here, we'll give you this. So
I think it'd be interesting if he does come or if he doesn't come. I think it'd be interesting where he goes. It'd be a good backup for João to push him to keep fit. Yeah. So let's go on to another one. There's two more. Riquelme. I'm hearing a lot of different things that he can't train with us at the moment because he hasn't signed a new deal, but he's still here at the same time.
That one made me laugh. I'm not sure who came up with that rumor, but the idea of when you take a player on trial is that you trial them.
Yeah, I thought that as well. I went, huh? Right. So what's going on? Are we trying? Atletico want him to sign a new contract if this is correct, and they won't let him go unless he signs a new contract. If they do let him go, it has to be for a transfer fee. They're not going to loan him for obvious reasons. So is he refusing to sign a new deal with them to come here permanently? Are Reading not willing to pay the permanent transfer?
All I know is that he is around the training ground. Exactly what's happening with him. I really, I couldn't tell you. I wouldn't want to speculate. From sort of rumors that I've heard or been told, it is like you said, that he's discussing a contract with Atletico Madrid, and until that's sorted, they won't sanction any transfer. So we just need to wait and see what happens. But it's going to have to be sorted out sooner rather than later anyway, because I can't imagine they're just going to keep him around.
So another question I had for you: could it be a possibility? Because I know you know what's going on, but could it be a possibility that he signs a 1-year extension to his contract that he's got, and put an option that Reading, or mandatory, as people are now called, some of them are now having it, that Reading have to pay 8 million, 5 million for him? Yeah. Is that an option that could be happened? Is that
if they could take him on loan, with an option to buy. That's what they did with Ajaria, although they nearly
messed that
one up quite significantly. That's definitely an option that they could take. He's obviously someone that's really highly rated. I think the fact that Atletico are trying to pen him down to a longer deal shows that they obviously hold him in quite a high regard. So I think it'll be an exciting transfer if they get him.
I think it's also quite telling as well by the Atletico Madrid fans how they were very upset with the fact of he could be leaving, as they were. I think I saw someone say that he's another one of our wonder kids that could be let go. And I think that's one of the things that I found quite telling, that a lot, not just one or two Atletico Madrid fans, a lot of them were very upset with he could be leaving. Yeah. So I think if he gets in, it could be interesting. Okay, the last one that I've heard and saw this morning from yourself and someone else as well was Alfredo Semedo, who was on loan at Nottingham Forest last season. Reading have a thing with people on loan at Nottingham Forest.
Pele Mark II.
What is that? Is that a loan? Is that a transfer? Could that be? Is that a quick and easy situation that's going to be done? What's going on with that one?
As far as I'm aware, what I've been told is they're sort of finalising a loan deal for him. So nothing agreed yet. Nothing, no medical or whatever. But
is this an option to buy, or is this just a loan, just to help?
Not that I'm aware of. Just I'm not saying that's correct, but from what I've been told, it's a season-long loan. Just sort of finalising the agreement. Then obviously once that gets accepted, he'll come over, do his medical, and if he passes that, he'll be in the squad.
Perfect. So, is there any more news on any left backs? Because I know there was that talk with the Chelsea left back.
I thought I didn't buy that one.
Right, is that agent talk, or is that just people just trying to find a left back?
Yeah, I really didn't buy that one.
Perfect.
I can't see what. Yeah.
So, is there any other news? Anything that you can tell us?
No, other than obviously Semedo. No, that's it.
And I really hope this Mendes situation gets done, because do you know what? It's a Ajaria Mark II for you on your Twitter, because all I see is anything you tweet is Mendes. And if it had anything about Mendes, it's like, and any tweet, right? And do you know what? And we're back. We just had a quick intervention just for a few minutes. But so just before we finish off and we get this all wrapped up for you, we've got Barnsley this weekend, and we want to get you involved. Barnsley lost, if I'm right, on the weekend against Luton. I'm just double checking what I do. 1-0. They lost to Luton in the 71st minute. It looked like they were dominant. Oh no, they dominated the game. Luton countered them. Jesus, they actually did dominate the game and lost. So what's your feeling about the game this Saturday? Before we get your prediction, how are you feeling? Are you confident on a win?
I would like to say yes, but Barnsley had a sudden sort of resurgence, didn't they, at the back end of last season when I can never pronounce his name. It's Gerald something.
Schumacher, whatever.
Shoe, yeah. Anyway, him. Quite disrespectful, isn't it? But yeah, him.
The bald one.
Yeah, they play some really nice football under him. Certainly, what I've seen, he looks like a good coach. Did an absolutely incredible job to keep them in the league. So I don't think it's going to be an easy game by any stretch of imagination. But I think Reading should have the team to come out on top. If I was going to give a prediction, I'd probably say 3-1.
Okay, that's cool. You'll have to hear mine and Ryan's prediction this Friday. We will get it, but we will put your prediction on as well with ours and see, and we will come back to you hopefully next week if you're not too busy, and we can get you back on and go through what you think and everything else to go with it. But just before we finish, I just want to say a couple of things. Is women's football. Just a quick roundup of that. That was I think there was 36 goals. And I think half of them were scored by Arsenal and Chelsea. 9-0 and 9-1 by them. I think the league need to do something to try and make it a bit more competitive between the top 5 and everyone else. I think it could be interesting. We've got, what's her name? Alex Morgan, I think her name is. The USA international, one of the best strikers, coming over and signed for Tottenham for a short-term deal as well. All of the world's best players are coming in. What we have Formula One over the weekend as well. One of the craziest races. If you haven't checked it out, please go and watch it. It's one of the most bizarre races I've ever. I think there was 8 or 9 retirements / crashes in that race. It was ridiculous, and thankfully everyone got out safe. NFL was happening. I'm so happy the NFL is back. I do love NFL. Tom Brady for the first time was playing for the Buccaneers. Didn't do very well. He did very well to start off with. He got himself a touchdown, and it just all went a bit Pete Tong for him after that. Cam Newton, who took over from Tom Brady at New England, was absolutely brilliant. Cam Newton back to his best, just needs to stay fit. Joe Burrow, I think, was doing very well, got his first touchdown and did very well. But yeah, we will discuss more about the NFL, Formula One, and everything coming forward this Friday on the podcast as well. So please go check it out. Please don't forget to go and follow us on Soundcloud to go and listen to this wherever you are and wherever you want to listen to it. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram. We're also very close. I hope when I release this podcast that we have hit 200 followers on Twitter. If we could get over 300, we might be able to do a prize. But we're trying to work on something to try and get you guys and try and get you involved a little bit more. But thank you ever so much for watching. I'm absolutely starving. That's why I'm finishing this podcast a little bit earlier. I'm fat and hungry. That's the reason. So thank you ever so much for watching. Thank you ever so much, Courtney, for coming on. You are an absolute diamond. You're the best thing on Reddit Twitter. You and Eddie are gods on Reddit Twitter right now. No one can match you or go anywhere near you. You are the best. Just saying. Not that you couldn't agree or something with that or say anything to it.
No, it's my pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
No worries. Right, guys, be safe. Take care. Enjoy the Luton game. Don't forget, after Luton game, we will be live on Instagram to talk to you through the game, and I probably won't watch it. I'll see the highlights because I'm not paying £10 for a Carabao Cup game. So, yes. So, everyone enjoy yourself. Have fun. Take care, and bye.